It's showtime, baby. Let's go. Woo!
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the show. This is Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm your host, Iceman Jeff Tronopole. And as always, I bring you sports from a West Side point of view right here in the great city of Cincinnati, Ohio. Home of some of the best barbecue around. That's right, it's Midwest Best Barbecue. I highly, highly recommend it. If you have not gone out there, please go out there and check out the Uno wings, the CTB wings, the G-Funk, the pulled pork sandwiches. All of it is delicious. Seriously, you can take a dart and throw it at the menu, and wherever the dart lands, pick it, because I guarantee you it will be absolutely delicious. Go out there, tell them the Iceman sent you. Say hi to Nick and Nicole, Tim and Nicole for me. I'd greatly appreciate it. And also brought to you by Meyer Door and Windows and more. You can check them out there at www.meyercincinnati.com for all your window and door needs. I got them in my house. They are awesome. Energy efficient. They look great. Easy to clean. Check them out. My West Side peeps. The Reds game tonight. Of course, they lost 8 in a row. But go to Hail Marys. Drown your sorrows. Maybe watch some NBA playoff games tonight. Some NHL playoff games on their big-ass TV screen. They always got food trucks there. Beer specials. Shots. All kinds of stuff. It's a great time. Free parking. I always say this. Free parking right across the street. Right in the heart of Cheviot. Make sure you check out Hail Marys. Your ticket to the game. And as always, I'm coming to you live from this glorious place down here. It's the Ice Cave. And the Ice Cave is brought to you by T Properties. T Properties, quality housing for quality people. Check out the website at www.tpropertiesllc.com for all your rental property management needs and your rental needs. And you know what? I don't have it on today, but I got it all around the studio. We hit the jackpot when we drafted Joe Burrow. You know it. NFL knows it. We're about to have the Jackpot Joey Revenge Tour. He's going to be nice and healthy. Make sure you're geared up for the upcoming season with the Jackpot Joey gear right there at jackpotjoey9.com. Remember, portion of the proceeds go to the Joe Burrow Foundation. We got the Jackpot Joey Classic, the golf outing coming up here next weekend. I'm extremely excited about it. If you guys don't have tickets to actually play, you can just show up before and after the golf outing. We're going to have raffles. I know we got this awesome painting of Jamar Chase T. Higgins and Joe Burrow. That's being done. We got some other cool things. I think there's going to be a live painting of Corey Dillon there or something like that. It's be cool. Corey Dillon's going to be there. Icky Woods is going to be there. I'm going to be there. Lots of current and former Bengals will be there. So make sure you guys check it out. What is up to everybody in the chat? Who's in there first? We got Strangers in there. Brad's in there. Rocket Bengals in there. Wells is in there. What's going on? All right, guys. So Mike Petraglia is going to be joining the show here. He's not in the waiting room yet. Just waiting on him to join. But let's talk some Reds. And the question I have is, will the Reds ever hit again? They have lost 8 in a row. That is surprising. I did not think. I thought this team offensively was going to be consistent enough to not go through lulls like this. I didn't think they would go through lulls and swoons, but not this bad. I mean, we at least scored. You know, we have 4 runs. It's still not enough. We're blowing some pretty good pitching performances, in my opinion. It's very frustrating to watch this. And you guys know my feeling about David Bell. I don't exactly think he's the best manager in the world. And when it comes to stuff like this, is when you need a pretty good manager to try to change the momentum. And I know he said we're close. He's been saying that since Tuesday. What's he supposed to say? I understand. But, jeez, you got to do something. Go get thrown out of a game. Go change up something. Do something. I don't know exactly what, but this is the point of where I think a good veteran manager makes a difference in a baseball team. A major baseball manager doesn't make a whole. I don't think it makes a whole lot of difference. But I mean, when it comes to points like this, where you're going through an 8-game losing streak, this is where the manager has got to step up and do something to try to change the momentum. Do something. Make some changes in the lineup. This is where I have a problem with David Bell when he's like, well, we're trying really hard. We're doing really good. We're doing what we're supposed to be doing, which is great. They are. But we're not getting results. And I don't know what the answer is. I'm not paid to do it, but David Bell is. So let's get to the man. He's in the waiting room. I'm hoping I can see him because he's up in the waiting room, but I can't actually see him. So we're going to try this. And Mike, if you can hear me, we're going to try to put you up here. And if I can't see you, you might have to jump on or jump off and jump back up. But let's try this. He is the man with his finger on the pulse to this Cincinnati sports. He is my friend. He is awesome, dude. He comes on as many times as I ask him. I appreciate him. He is Trags, Mike Petraglia. Mike, are you there? Mike is not there. All right, Mike. So what I might need you to do is try to jump off and jump back on again and see if you can get a better connection, because I don't know what happened. So we'll try to get Mike connected again. I just want to make sure, see if he would get this connection fit. But that happens here on the internet. All right, let's see here. Let's get to some Reds conversation here with you guys. Okay, let's go with Brad here. I actually should you in first. Go ahead. As far as the hitting, obviously someone forgot to give Joe Boo his rum. And that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. I mean, maybe David needs to do something to lighten the room. Have some fun. Because they're trying. I know they're trying. David says they're trying. They are trying. Of course they are. The Reds don't want to go out there and lose 8 in a row and not, get hits and not get out. Because this team is built to get on base. They get on base, they steal second, they steal third, they make things happen. They're not getting on. They're not getting on and getting over and getting in, as George Grant would say. That is one of the biggest problems. They got to try to get on, and maybe it is something to lighten the mood. Now I'll tell you this. All right, this is how old I am. I remember in 1990, the Reds went wire to wire, but they had this losing streak. They went out west, and this is back when the Reds were in the NL West, and we'd have to go out to LA a lot because they were in our division. We went to LA, San Francisco, I think San Diego, and we lost damn near every game. And I remember this. They're in LA. Ron Oster, veteran guy on the team, I think they lost like 7 in a row or something similar to this. It was a big losing streak, and the Reds had a big lead. So. And it was getting close. They got within like 3.5, 4.5, something like that. Sharon Oster wanted to get like 6 or 7 guys, however long the winning streak was, I don't exactly remember, to shave their head. Well, none of them would do it. So Ron Oster shaved his head. Looked awful. But that, for some reason, loosened the guys up, And it took the pressure off. And they took off again. Now, this is in like August, where they've been grinding out and playing great. That's something I think maybe needs to happen here. Something's got to happen to get this team going. Let me try to send Mike I'll check the link here. Yeah, it works for me. All right, hold on. Do it new, Mike. Hopefully, Trags be able to figure it out. If not, it'd just be you and me talking here. All right, let's get to Brad's comment here. I think it's time for the Reds to wake up, or they are going to be the worst than their 2022 record. They are a much better team than they are playing. And that's the thing. It's like, this is reminding me of that 2022 season. This stretch is reminding me of it. It's frustrating. I don't have the answers. You know, I don't know how you get guys out of this. You know, I'm not a major league player. I'm not a major league baseball player. But when you hear David Bell come on and say we're close, it makes me laugh. They're not right now. They're not close. They lost. I mean, I guess they're close. Today they lost 5-4, but still lost. You got to be able to get these things going. You can't. This division was for the taking, and right now, if they don't get out of this soon, and the funny thing is, normally, this is what happens in April. We get off to these bad starts. We got off to a pretty decent start, not a great start, but a pretty decent start in April, and then May rolls around, and they can't get on. They have a terrible season. Anyway, there he is. I see him. He has made it. He's in the backstage. Like I said, he's the man with the pulse of the city of Cincinnati. He's the man. He's the myth, the legend. He's Trags. What's going on, Trags? How you doing, brother?
So tell me you can hear me while I'm driving.
I can hear you while you were driving. Just please don't get in a wreck while you're driving.
I won't. Promise.
Good. So, I've been discussing here. The question I brought to the show is, one, will the Reds ever win again? Two, will they ever start hitting again? What is going on, and what can David Bell do to turn this around? Or is anything a manager can do to turn this around?
So I go back and forth on this, Iceman. I think really all David Bell can do at this point is play the hand he's been given, and fans are going to crush him for the way he sounds after every loss.
Yes.
Because fans are frustrated. I get that. I totally understand that. But there's only so much David Bell can do. You know, yeah, you can tweak the lineup a little bit here and there, but you've been dealt the hand you've been dealt, and sometimes you have to let it play out over the course of a season. Really good teams go through really bad spells, and really mediocre teams go through really bad spells. We don't know what the 2024 Reds are yet. We just don't. And until the full complement of players, or at least a fuller complement of players, we're really not going to be able to answer that question. At this point, I would like to see the Reds do more to get on base. Whether it's walks, dropping bunts, that kind of stuff, you do have control over that. You do have control over working the count a little bit deeper. And I saw signs of that today. And not coincidentally, I saw the Reds have their 3-run inning in 81 innings today.
Right.
Think about that.
81 innings.
They had not scored 3 or more runs in a frame since the 6th inning, April 28th at Texas. That was the last time they scored 3 runs or more. And, the Reds just have not been explosive because a lot of their explosive players are either not producing or they're not available. And until, you allow time for these guys to work their way out of what they're going through, it's going to be that way. Now, I thought at the beginning of this dry spell that it had a lot to do with Seattle, Philadelphia, and Baltimore pitching staffs. Yeah. And while I think that's part of it, Jeff, I'm starting to believe it's really not the whole thing. It's a lot of the resting on themselves and trying to hit the 3-run homer every time they're at the plate. So I think we are reaching the end of this drought, and hopefully for their sake they'll actually go on the road, a road trip that a lot of writers are saying could be a death knell to their season. And funny things happen on the road, man.
Right.
And this could be one of those road trips where the Reds come together and they get their stuff together and they get hot. Because all it's going to take is for the Reds to win 4 of 6, and this 8-game losing streak will feel like a distant memory.
Right, exactly. And the good news is, with all this going on, I mean, none of the teams in the NL Central have really ran away with it. I mean, right now, the last 10 games, and Milwaukee's 4-6, Chicago's 5-5, Pittsburgh's 3-7, we're 1-9, and St. Louis is 3-7. So nobody's really ran away with it. We're 5.5 games out now. That's what they gotta put the brakes on this losing streak and get this thing going. But I agree exactly with what you're saying. When this thing first started, I thought the pitching in Seattle and Philly really hurt them. And that's the other thing I have noticed too, that it seems like they are trying to hit the 3-run homer more than grind out at bats. And that's what this team did a lot last year. If you remember when we were on the 12-game winning streak, they grinded and grinded and grinded, and they got on base and they made things happen. And we're not really doing that as much. I think they're starting to get back to that, But that to me is the biggest problem right now. Is they're not getting back to what they do, and what they do is they grind games out. This is not a power team. Yes, we do hit home runs, but we don't rely on that like Reds teams of the past have. We're relying on the 3-run homer. Good.
Well, let me add another thing to the whole discussion here. I was at David Bell's post-game press conference today, and the one thing he has harped on throughout this 8-game skid, we are not going to let one game bleed into another. Right. He believes, in his heart of hearts, these are 8 separate cases of losses. Not that one loss has impacted the next loss, has impacted the next. And he's very big into compartmentalizing the way the Reds are playing right now, for better or worse. And that's his message after every game. And it looks low energy. It looks very, almost at times, robotic. But he's trying to take the emotion of losing out of the equation so you don't have an avalanche of negativity in the clubhouse. I do understand what David Bell's trying to do. And on the flip side, I get it. Fans are passionate about this franchise. Okay? Reds fans are very passionate about a franchise that's been around since 1869. Very passionate about a franchise that hasn't won a playoff series since 1995. Yep. That's a long time.
I was 25 last time they won a playoff. I was 25 years old last time they won a playoff series. I'm 49 now, Trags.
And who hit the grand slam in Game 3?
For the Reds, it was Mark Lewis, wasn't it?
Very good.
Yeah.
Hamilton's very own.
Yep.
Blues' very own.
Yep.
Mark Lewis. Correct. And that seems like, it was a generation ago. And, when you wait down and you see 3 different ownerships, 3 different stewards.
Uh-oh. Jack, something happened. I can't hear you. You're muted. I'm not sure what's going on. I don't think you can hear me. Trags, you're muted. You're muted. I can't hear you. If you can hear me, I can't hear you. You're muted for some reason. I don't know what happened. Freaking internet is, something's going on and you're muted now. I don't know. This is one thing. I love the internet, the show, and I also hate it sometimes because when things happen on their end, there's nothing I can do about it. Because I don't know what happens. They get phone calls. They do different things. And all of a sudden I lose them. Let's see here. Yeah, CD problem. He got a phone call. Right. Exactly. Hey, my boy's watching. What's up, Chandler? All right, Paul. You got take the Viking helmet and cape away. This team is forgetting to play small ball. And that's kind of what we're saying. I don't necessarily. I like the Viking helmet. I like the cape. I don't necessarily think they need to take it away from them. They need to get back to the mindset of grinding out at bats. That's the thing. That's more. The Viking helmet and the cape is fun, and if you get somebody in this day and age of baseball, bat flips and everything else, that's okay now. You should enjoy it because it's really hard. One, to get a hit in Major League Baseball. Two, to get homers. So I agree with the premise of what you're saying, Paul. I don't necessarily think we actually have to take that away from them. Plus, the Reds are making money on the Viking helmet. Kids are buying them, and adults are buying them, so they're probably not going to take that away. But yeah, and I do, and I agree with it. I do get what David Bell is trying to do, and I made fun of the way he does press conferences. He does it like Bill Belichick. Oh, we just gotta, we're close, and we gotta just keep grinding. But David Bell is right. You cannot let what happens one day lead into the next. I mean, the same thing with the Bengals. The Bengals can't let, if they have a loss one week, they can't let it bleed into the next week. It's two separate things, and it's a mindset. And that's where I think the Reds have gotten out of that. And I'm not saying that. I mean, at this point, you lose 8 in a row. It's hard to not go, oh shit, we got to freaking win. We've lost 8 in a row. I mean, that's just humanly hard to get out of your head. So I do think that is creeping in. You can see the frustration on the batters, especially Will Benson, which I feel bad for because I love Willie B. And watching him strike out last night and just the deflated look on his face, it's heartbreaking. It's hard. And I know they're frustrated. I'm frustrated. And the thing, like Track says, is the Reds fans are passionate. We want to win so bad. 1995 was the last time we won a playoff series. We have a 22 scoreless streak in the playoffs right now. It's still there for when we couldn't score in the 2020 playoffs. So I don't, how you do this, I don't know. It's a mindset, and they got to get back to grinding it out. Let's get to Brad here. If you had to replace David Bell, who would you want? That is a good question, because my go-to one before this was Barry Larkin, and I still don't think that'd be a bad one. But watching Bruce Bochy lead the Texas Rangers to the World Series last year kind of was an eye-opening moment for me where I'm like, all right, basically all the Rangers changed. They added Sear and they added Bochy. That's basically all they added. Off the top of my head, I can't think of a manager out there who is a veteran manager who's been there, done that. Won a World Series. I mean, you got Dusty Baker, but I think Dusty's retired. But my favorite manager of all time is Lou Piniella. We're not getting Lou Piniella. So I don't know. So Brad's a really good question, and that's where I'm not out on here saying David Bell has to be fired. I'm not saying that. I think if this gets any longer, it might be more of an option. But I'm not firing David Bell just to fire him. I want somebody, like I said, I want a veteran manager who's been there, done it. Because somebody said in the chat here, we don't really have. And this is one of the things we talked about this offseason. We were worried about is that veteran leadership of not having Joey Votto there anymore. I'm not having that guy. That's where when you run into a losing streak like this, a guy like Joey Votto, been there, done that, could help. And we have veteran players, Jonathan India, but he's only in his 5th year. I mean, Joey Votto's Joey Votto. I mean, he's one of the greatest hitters of all time. All-star player, MVP. A guy with that kind of clout, it's hard to replace. And that was one of the reasons I would have liked them to have kept him. I didn't think they were going to, but I thought his leadership in itself was going to be hard. Excuse me. Another one I think, and it sounds crazy, because I noticed this last year, and he is not a veteran, but I think Matt McClain not being here. Last year when he got hurt, down the stretch, the Reds faltered. I really think Matt brings something to this team. Matty Bats brings something to this team that is that it factor. That I don't know, gets them get back to concentrating small ball. Has the locker room loosened up. Something. I noticed it last year when McLean was injured and gone for a little while. So that's another one where I think you lost of, because that's where I said this in Austin. I was like, all right, we don't have Votto, but I really like Matt McLean and his leadership and what he provided, because like I said, I did notice that last year. So we'll see. Terry Franco. See, I like that. I would be all for that, but I don't think Francona, I think he retired because of his health. Actually, Terry Francona would be great, but I don't think he wants to because of his health concerns. You start by firing the hitting coach first. Yes and no. It's the same hitting coach we had last year when they're grinding out at bats. So I'm not always one that you hurt fire the coach. You fire this, you fire that guy. You know, it could help. It could not. Again, if you fire the hitting coach, it's the hitting coach. Like, okay, then who do you bring in? So I don't know. The Trags is back. Trags, are you there?
Yeah, I am. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. That's okay. Hey, like I said, I appreciate you coming on. So I know you've been a busy guy. You had Bengals mini camp today. You had the Reds game. So I mean, like I said, you are the man who covers everything. So I appreciate you trying to fit me into your busy schedule. Did you get a chance to make it down to Bengals mini rookie camp today?
Well, it's actually tomorrow. So we get 2 hours or so with the rookies, the draft picks, the 10 draft picks, and how many ever, 13 undrafted rookies. And it's their time. It's essentially an orientation.
Right.
And it used to be that the rookies come in and go through drills and practice. They don't do that anymore. It's just a one-day orientation type of deal. Get the guys, get the players in the building, allow the coaching staff to talk to them, allow a lot of the administrative people to talk to them. Here's what it's going to be like in the NFL for the next couple of months. Get used to it. All of that. That's really what rookie minicamp has turned into.
I like it. It just means we're getting closer to football season, and if they're outside and my ankle, if my ankle feels better, you might see me up on the bridge. I ended up actually hurting my ankle. I was at the Icky Woods golf outing Monday, and Chaz, I'm getting old. Oh, dude, I was just walking around. All of a sudden, I didn't twist I didn't fall. I just felt something pop in my foot, and I'm like, what the heck? And I've been limping around all week, so I haven't been down there, but I will try to get down there tomorrow.
You're not on crutches.
No, not on crutches. It's like, it's not really my ankle. It's like the bottom of my, not the bottom of my foot, but like right below my ankle. I don't know what I did, man. It's like I've got to the point where I wake up, I go to bed, I wake up, and things hurt, and all I did was sleep. I'm like, how the hell did that happen? Like, I didn't even know that was a muscle down there. How did I hurt that?
You are getting old, Iceman. We all do.
I am. I'm
We
not.
all get old.
I'm not as young as you, Track. So I mean, we can't all stay young and fit like
sure
you.
About that? Are you sure about that? I don't know, Iceman.
All right, so real quick, I want to get your opinions on with the rookies coming in, the draft in general, and real quick. First, before we do that, let's roll back to Joe Burrow. Let's bring him up. Jackpot, coming out and running around, throwing, looking like Jackpot Joey. We had internet doctors. Oh, his wrist is never going to be the same. Yada yada yada. Whatever. We've heard this with his knee and everything else. From what you saw of Joe Burrow and him throwing the ball and the wrist and everything, where do you think Joe is at, and does he look good? No, I lose you again. Can you hear me? I think you got a phone call. See, when you come on the show, you gotta put the I can't hear you. You gotta put the phone on Do Not Disturb so when you get calls. Paul says, wait till I get to be 58. I got 10 years till that, Paul. I'm 40, well, I got 9 years. I'm 49 right now. That's bad when you forget actually how old you are. So, but I still can't hear you, Trags. You're not. It's not. Try to jump off and jump back on again. See if that helps. I don't know how else to fix it. And if you can hear me, put your phone on Do Not Disturb. So if you get phone calls and stuff, it probably won't knock you out. You can try that. Or he can look at he might be busted out. This is a man who's really giving his best effort to try to stay on the show with me. I appreciate it. And he's in his car. He's been working all day. And he's trying to get this thing worked out. But my opinion on Joe Burrow, I think he's right on schedule. I like what he said in his press conference, where I think he learned from last year. Like, when he first hurt his calf, we all saw the sleeve. So there was something there. So, in my opinion, I think Joe felt something in the calf. He's like, it's no big deal. I'm a starting quarterback of the Cincinnati Bengals. I got to be out there. And for Joe, you got to remember, when he's at Ohio State, he did not win the starting quarterback job there because he got hurt. And he had to sit. And then he had to transfer to LSU and all that. So, in Joe's mind, he doesn't want to miss anything. Because when he did in the past miss something, he lost his job. I like that mindset. I'm QB1. This is my job. You got to take it out of my, cold, dead hand or whatever. But I think last year, Jake Browning playing the way he did, and Joe struggling the way he did with the calf, might have given Joe an epiphany of, I'm not going to push this. Like, look, if I'm not 100% ready to play, which I'm not saying he's not going to be, he's going to be 100% with the wrist. I don't think there's any doubt in my mind that the wrist will be fine by the start of the season. But if there is something that he pulls something or does something a little nagging, I think he's going to take a step back and let Jake take the reps so he can fully rest and recover. Now, he's got to figure out how to do this and ramp it up toward the season to be ready to play, because you guys, I know everybody, all Bengals Nation, Who Dey Nation thinks this. We got to get off to a better start. We cannot start off 0-2, 1-2. We got to get off to a really good start. And with the schedule we have, which it's going to be released next week, we'll actually get to find out when we play these teams. We know who we're going to play. We get to find out when we play them. I'm not going to say it's going to be a cakewalk, because it's the NFL. I'll never say it's going to be a cakewalk. But compared to the gauntlet that they've had to do the last 2 years for having a number one ranked schedule, this year should be easier. With that being said, two things got to happen. Joe's got to be 100% healthy, and if there's anything that is nagging, for him to be make sure he's healthy and he doesn't aggravate it anymore. That's one thing that I've noticed. That's when I think the Jake Browning effect happened last year. All right, let's get the Wells here. For Tracy back on Bengals. Sorry, let's get the Willis here. Bengals are 1-9 under Taylor in the first 2 games of his 5 seasons as Bengals head coach, and that's right there. That's what's got to change. That's got to change, because look, I am 100% very positive in this. If Jackpot had not hurt his wrist in that Baltimore game, we're winning that game. We just came off winning 4 in a row. The week before that, we had a stupid game and lost to the Texans. Texans played really well. Still shouldn't have lost that game. I think we beat Baltimore in Baltimore, and we're taking off. And I don't know if we're going to win the division, but we're at least getting the wild card. We're getting in the playoffs next year, or that year. Joe gets hurt. Season's basically over. And this is one thing, I've had this argument with people on the show for years. The backup quarterback doesn't matter that much. Now, I'll say this. I've changed my mind a little bit. It matters more now, I think, if Joe Burrow trusts that guy. And Joe Burrow knows, like, okay, if I'm not feeling the greatest, I got something that's a little naggy, I can let him take more reps in practice, or something that, if he gives him a better shot to win that day than Joe does because Joe is injured. I think that part is important. And I think Jake Browning proved that last year. I still don't believe if Joe Burrow is out for the entire season, it doesn't matter who your backup quarterback is. We're not going to go win the Super Bowl. So that's where I have changed on the importance of the backup quarterback is for when they need it for spot starts or just to run stuff at practice if Joe needs to take a little more time to recover. I'll put it to you that way. All right, let's go to T. Brooks here. Ravens fans are trying to put Lamar in the Hall of Fame. He has yet to win a big game. I agree. I mean, yes, he's won 2 MVPs. You got to give him the credit. He's won 2 MVPs. He is a very good Lamar Jackson, and Ravens fans, you can quote me on this. He's a very good regular season quarterback. He's a very, very good. He's an MVP regular season quarterback. He is not that in the playoffs to this point. Maybe he'll change my mind or change the narrative, but the facts are, I think he's won 1 playoff game, maybe 2 playoff games, if that. So, yes, Lamar is he's a great regular season quarterback. It's just nothing. He hasn't proven the playoffs. And let's put it this way. You say they want to put him in the Hall of Fame. Why is Ken Anderson not in the Hall of Fame? He hasn't won a Super Bowl. Why would Lamar Jackson be put in the Hall of Fame right now? Other than winning 2 MVPs, what else has he done? So, no, I do not think Lamar Jackson is a Hall of Fame quarterback yet. He could be, And I don't believe you have to win a Super Bowl to be a Hall of Fame quarterback. I think you can do it by winning MVPs and making long playoff runs. You got to at least get to the championship game or something. Or at least get to the Super Bowl and, lose it. I mean, if they were to retire right now, Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson, it would be, honestly, neither one of them would get in right now. But let's just say their careers in now. It would be a toss-up. I mean, Joe Burrow has went to an AFC Championship game and a Super Bowl. Lamar Jackson's went to 1 AFC Championship game, and I think he's won 2 playoff games, but he's got 2 MVPs. So they're very... Am I what? Are you hammered? Are you hammered right now? No, Crip, I'm not hammered right now. Why are you asking if I'm drinking Coke? What? Why are you asking? Do I look hammered? No, I don't know. Yeah. Dan Fouts didn't win a Super Bowl. Exactly. That goes to the whole argument of my thing of why is Dan Fouts in the freaking Hall of Fame and Ken Anderson is not. I don't understand. Dan Marino, he didn't win one. Yeah. Yeah. But those are also their time when they were playing were prolific passers. Lamar Jackson is a very unique player. He's hard to compare to. I mean, it's Michael Vick. I'll put it this way: would have Michael Vick been a Hall of Famer if he had not gotten the dog fighting charges against him, and just say he never won a Super Bowl? Why are we talking about Baltimore? Because there's a question. Because there's a question. Crip, there's a question in there that Wells did, and I got Trags on here, and I'm waiting for Trags to get back on here. T. Brooks asked, Raiders fans are trying to put Lamar in the Hall of Fame. That's how I got there. Like, if you'd show up on time, Crip Keeper, you would know what's going on. Sheesh. Yeah, Paul Pierce says, I'm on a sugar high. Exactly. It's a sugar high. But yeah. Hopefully, Trax can join us again. He might not be able to. He might just be in his bad spot because I really wanted to get his opinion. You're good, Crip. You're good. I really want to get his opinion on what he felt about Joe Burrow. And I'll put it to you guys this way. Good luck to Tyler Boyd in Tennessee. I'm going to miss him. I don't think this was a surprise to anybody except my boy Bengals captain. I love Cap. He thought TB might come back. I never really did. I think the Jermaine Burton drafting of him pretty much sealed Tyler Boyd's fate. With that being said, and I know I said this last year, but I really do think this is the best. Or I'll put it this way: this is the most weapons that Jackpot Joey has had to this date, and I think Burton brings a extra special scenario to this, which I mean by that is you can put T outside, Burton outside, and you put Jamar in a slot. This opens up Jamar Chase to be more utilized in different spaces. I'm very excited to see what they can do. I really like what I've heard from Paul Painter of how he's, I think, going to have a more diversified, hopefully explosive offense. Not only that, and the reason I say that too is because we drafted 2 tight ends. I've said this on the show before. Drafting of the 2 tight ends, plus signing of Gesicki, plus the emergence of Tanner Hudson last year, there's a good chance that, and I'm for this, if they move Sample to halfback, which if move that, just tied him as a halfback, because he did do that last year, but you could also use him as a tight end. That gives you 4 receiving tight ends. Really, I think pretty good receiving tight ends. Tanner Hudson. Just go with Tanner Hudson and Gesicki. Those 2, I think, are going to be really good. Alt, I think, if he's healthy, he's going to be really good. Joe's usually had 1 tight end that he can throw to. 1. He's potentially at least going to have 3, for sure, on the roster. That is if they roster Drew Sample just as a tight end strictly. And Tanner Hudson is on the practice squad. Those 2 moves right there, with having Burton opening up Chase to move around, do different things, and the options that we have at tight end, that's an immense amount of weapons. Way more than Joe Burrow has had. And it's going to open it up for T. Higgins, too. I mean, T wants to go out and ball out this year. The pressure is not going to be solely on T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd. Tyler Boyd's in Tennessee. But that was our offensive weapons, and then whoever we had at tight end, and then Mixon come out of the backfield, which was good. I mean, it's great. We got to AFC Championship game. We got to a Super Bowl. Now we got all these wide receivers, plus Yoshivas, plus Charlie. You say what you want about Charlie Jones. I still believe in Charlie Jones. Plus all these wide receivers, plus our running backs, I think, are going to split time. And I think nothing against Joe Mixon. I think these guys are going to fit the offensive scheme better than Joe Mixon. I've never said Joe's washed. I think Joe's going to go to Houston and have a really good year. And then a lot of Bengals fans are going to call on the show going, why in the hell did we keep Joe Mixon? I just don't think Joe Mixon, where he's at in the stage of his career, fits what this offense does. It's going to do. That's what's exciting to me about this team, of how many different options that Joe is going to have. I mean, just look at it this way. You can actually run a 2 tight end set. And you can have guys that could be in there, and you don't know if they're going to block or if they're going to go out. You got running backs. You don't know if they're going to get the ball and hand it off to him, or they're going to go out for a pass. You got Jamar Chase. You have no idea where he's going to be at. You got we got Speedster and Burton. You got T. Higgins, who you know what T can do. I mean, it is very exciting as to what this team can do. Plus, we have last place schedule. So, we'll see here. All right, let's see here. Let's go here to Michael. What's up, man? I think Burrow made a smart comment by saying he's going to start paying attention to his body more. Plus, he trusts Jake. Exactly. And that's kind of where that's the biggest thing that I got out of it, that I liked what Joe said in his press conference, is that he is going to try to take care of himself. What's up, Drags? How you doing, buddy?
Third time's the charm.
Let's go, man.
Okay.
All right.
Your
Joe
point
Burrow.
about Joe Burrow.
Yes,
Here's
sir.
what I want to say about Joe Burrow, my friend. Real quick, because I got to run.
Yep, gotcha.
We don't know how Joe Burrow feels to throw a football.
Right.
We do know that he's learning his body more and more, and I think he's listening to his body more and more, Jeff, in terms of what he's going to be able to do to get ready for the season and what he doesn't want to do in terms of pushing it too hard. That was the biggest takeaway from watching him throw a football on Tuesday. Yes, he actually looked pretty good doing it, but we don't know how he felt on Wednesday and Thursday and today,
Right.
and today, I guess it's Thursday. How did he feel the 48 hours after throwing the ball and putting his hand through the motions of throwing it at, pretty close to full effort? We don't know that. But we do know that he's expecting to feel a moderate to high degree of soreness after he goes through these practices and these throwing sessions. I think he's more self-aware of his body, and I think that's going to help him long term.
Now, real quick, I'll let you go after this. Do you think the emergence of Jake Browning last year takes some of the pressure off Joe?
Yes.
As far as
Absolutely.
I got to get out there, And I think he kind of said that in his press conference, sort of. Did you get that out of what Joe was saying?
Absolutely. And I got that out of him, in his January 8th press conference right after the season ended. The big deal about having Jake Browning around is not only do the Bengals and Joe Burrow have confidence in him intellectually, they know he can go out and do it physically. When you have those two things, Burrow can tell himself, look, I can take the time I need to get at full strength. That's what this whole offseason is going to be about in terms of rehabbing from surgery. Will he be 100% come the first or second Sunday in September? Probably not. He'll probably be pretty close to it.
Right.
But I think he's not going to feel rushed to feel like I have to get ready. I have to speed up the rehab process more quickly than normally I would.
Yeah, I think he did that with the calf. I think we're all in agreement. There was something with the calf before he really hurt it because he wore a calf sleeve.
Agreed.
So I don't think this year, if he has something like that, he's going to push himself. He'll be like, all right, Jake, you take it. I got to make sure I'm 100% healthy. Hey, Trags, I will let you go. I know you got to go. I appreciate you coming on. And with all the internet struggles, my apologies to that. But plug some stuff before I let you go. I know you got a new Reds podcast you're doing.
I do. And Iceman, I'm really sorry about the technical difficulties.
That's all right. Don't worry about it.
Hunter Green, by the way, was talking about smelling salts after the game, and everybody lost their mind.
Right.
Do you know that?
Yeah.
So anyway, Code Reds. I'm just rambling here.
That's all right. I do it every day at 5:30.
Code Reds is my Reds podcast on CLNS. Jungle Roar podcast, very well.
Mm-hmm.
That's my Bengal podcast. They both drop early in the week, every week. The website is clnscincy.com with a Y. And you can follow me, as always, on X at Trags, Trags. By the way, my YouTube sites are at Jungle Roar Pod and at Cincinnati Sports Studio, both on YouTube.
Exactly. Make sure you guys go check this out. And just like Rob here says, he works in tech. Never
appreciate you,
apologize.
Thanks, Rob.
It happens,
Thumbs
man.
up for Rob.
There you go. It happens, man. And by the way, for your podcast, if you ever need a co-host or anything,
I got you.
Anyway, Track, I appreciate you. Go. I'm sure you gotta go somewhere and go work some more, but I appreciate you, man.
All right, brother. Take care.
See you, bud. Bye. All right, guys. Make sure you guys go check out Trags. I appreciate him trying. Like I said, he tried 3 times to come on, so he's a busy man, and I appreciate him working his ass off at his job and trying to get on my show. Because, like I said, I'm just some dork with a YouTube show with a stupid name called Strawberry Ice. So he tries to come on my show. So I appreciate him a lot. All right, let's get to a couple more questions here before I get on out of here. Michael again. Who do you think tight end one's going to be? I think it's going to be Gesicki. I mean, they signed him. I think he's going to be tight end one. But I do also think he is going to be more in the slot than actually in the tight end position. But as far as receiving numbers, I think Gesicki's going to be your number one. Then it depends on what Alt and McLaughlin do. Am I saying his name right? Because I get this messed up. Yeah, McLaughlin. Yeah, Tanner McLaughlin. What he does. And Tanner Hudson. I mean, and the thing is, like, people are kind of, and I've said it, Tanner Hudson might be the odd man out. But Joe trusts Tanner Hudson. And who says in there? Yeah, Paul said. Anyone not named T. Chase has to earn JB9's trust. We see how it shakes out. Tanner Hudson's already earned his trust. So that right there gives Tanner a leg up, in my opinion, on the two rookies that are coming in, because Joe might go to bat for him saying, hey, I trust this dude, And that's what this off, and Paul, that's what the offseason is about, is working on the routes. Like Gesicki, I think, said his press conference, or somebody said, maybe James Rapine said it. Anyway, Joe is talking to Gesicki about where he wants him to break on certain routes and how he wants him to come at it. That's how detailed Joe is. And that's what's so important about Joe being able to throw now for the new guys that we got coming in. And like Track says, we don't know how Joe's wrist felt or how his body felt after he threw. We think that's the first time that he went all out throwing. We don't know that either. Joe could have been throwing out in California or something, before this. I'm not saying he did. I have no idea. So that's the thing with Joe, is it depends on how he's recovering, how he feels, and starting on time. I would say starting on time to be able to throw and work with the guys he's got in here is going to be very, very important. And to me, he's ahead of, like, if you remember, I remember when he hurt his knee and I was on the bridge. He wasn't running around. I mean, he was moving, but he wasn't full force. From the videos I saw this week on Monday, Joe's running around. And one thing Joe said he had to start working on, and what he really wanted to test, was throwing it off one leg and kind of off balance, where it's mostly arm and wrist. That's the stuff he really wanted to see how that's coming around, because that is right where the surgery is. That's where he's putting the most torque on the ball and the most pressure on his wrist that is hurt, is when he's basically got to use mostly his arm. Those are the things that I'd be curious to find out how he felt after that. Again, we haven't heard because the media hasn't got to talk to Joe. We just got to be able to trust that Joe is going to take care of Joe. We got to trust Joe's going to do what he says he's going to do. Take care of himself, not rush it. And like me and Trey just said, I don't think Joe feels the pressure of having to take every snap, at least, leading up to the beginning of the season. Obviously, toward the end of training camp, he's better be taking all the snaps. That's where I think the maturity and what he's gone through is going to help him going forward. Now, we got to pray to God that he stays healthy. We got the Cincinnati Skyline. We got three of the biggest tackles, if you count Mims. So, offensive line should be better, Orlando Brown will have his second year in the Bengals system. Hope he gets back to his all-pro status. Cordell Wilson has another year starting under his belt. Teddy K. Got to be Teddy K. And I think this is going to be a very good season. I'm thinking Super Bowl. I mean, hey, my girl Kinsley, I got even higher stakes in other than the Bengals winning. She said that she would give me the Corey Dillon rookie card that she has, that he was where he's actually in his college uniform. And she said, as long as Corey signs it, and Corey already agreed that he would sign it. So, Bengals, it's already written. I'm going to get this card. They're going to win the Super Bowl. Corey's going to autograph this, and we're going to have a freaking blast. Anyway, you guys see my new Shane Graham in the background? Got that from one of my buddies. He gave it to me. So it's about 6 feet tall. That's about the only place I can put it. So that's be the new decoration to the ice cave here. So let's see here. What'd you say? What'd you say, Paul? Some good one-on-one chat today, Jeff. Kudos to Trags. But this was still fun. Good job. Thanks. I appreciate it. Win-win for Iceman. Yeah. I appreciate it. All right. I think we'll get on out of here. Thanks to my sponsors of my show, the great family, Tim and Nicole, Midwest Best Barbecue. Please go out there and check it out. Please go out there and get you some CTB wings, some Uno wings, some G-Funk, some pulled pork sandwiches, some mac and cheese. Like I said, there's nothing bad out there. Go out there, get you some. Tell them Iceman sent you, and say hi to Tim and Nicole. Meyer, Door and Windows. If you guys are looking for new windows and doors, please check them out at www.meyercincinnati.com. They get free estimates. They're family owned and operated. You can talk to Matty Myers. He will show up in the Jackpot Joey Mobile. He loves talking Bengals. He also likes selling windows. So make sure you guys go check that out. And my Cincinnati peeps, West Side peeps, go check out Hail Mary's. Or if you're on the East Side, you want to come to a cool little sports bar, check out Hail Mary's. Your ticket to the game right in the heart of Cheviot. I keep saying it's free parking because I think it's really cool. They got free parking around there because there's not a lot of parking in Cheviot. So go there. Big ass TV screen. Food trucks all the time. Beer specials. Food's great. Bar is awesome. Go check it out. It's a little gem in the heart of Cheviot. Hail Mary's. Please check it out. All right, guys. So tomorrow is Friday. It's Friday night. It's Saturday, Sunday. I know Corey told me not to quit my day job. But I have a very special, fun show, I think. My boy Dale, my former seat neighbor, from Bengals Brews, going to be on, along with Glenn Goodberry. I got to double check with both of them. I've been trying to get Glenn on for about a month now. I've been trying to get Joe on for about 2 years now. Joe's not answering my DMs, so I'm trying to get Joe on. But I got Glenn on, and I think I got the better half. You know, I got the better half of the Goodberries. But I have Glenn Goodberry and Dale on. If you ever seen them on Bengals Brews together or Glenn on my show anymore, you know it's gonna be fun. It'll be a fun Friday show. Make sure you guys check it out tomorrow. Thanks for watching. I've been live streaming on ZTV, Facebook, X, Twitch. You follow me on all those, along with Threads, Instagram, TikTok. Other than that, you guys have a wonderful day. I'll see you tomorrow. And that's just sports, baby. Hit those likes. See ya!